This leads actually to a particular paradox. With COVID, it became immediately clear that we would not never achieve a vaccine if scientists would not collaborate very early on.
Can you share with us what are the key initiatives you are currently working on to drive responsible innovation?
The last few years I've been working on in my capacity at the European Commission, trying to motivate and to engage stakeholders in a process to change the rewards and incentive system for researchers. So that means we currently have a research system, like you also have very strongly in Australia, which pushes researchers to a productivity in terms of publishing as much as possible, and then preferably in high impact journals. This leads actually to a particular paradox. We can show that the more people actually publish, the less productive the system becomes in terms of addressing societal relevant issues. And this is because the journals researchers preferably want to publish because they will get their prestige on that. Select articles on of course, scientific interest, but not necessarily whether it helps to contribute to social desirable ends. So we try to change this rewards and incentive system to a system where researchers are not rewarded only for the amount of publications they do, for example, or where they publish, but whether they collaborate and whether they share their data and knowledge early on in order to address societal challenges. And I think COVID was actually a gift for our research, for this motive, because with COVID, it became immediately clear that we would not never achieve a vaccine if scientists would not collaborate very early on, forget about their publication, share their data immediately. And this is what happened to a large extent, which contributed to the early availability of a vaccine. But of course, the question remains for all these important global societal challenges, we have to rearrange our rewards system globally, actually, for scientists and motivate them and reward them for collaborating early on, as we did with COVID. This is only one element, of course, from ROI. You can say it's a sort of precondition for achieving ROI. ROI is much broader than this element of institutionalizing open science within the research system. But this is already a very big task. And stakeholders are, of course, at least reluctantly to move in this direction. But we have had some major initiatives recently. So I can quote, for example, the Netherlands or also in Finland, where they changed the system already to an extent that they abandoned the journal impact factor, for example, as a reward criterion. They, in fact, in Netherlands abandoned all forms of quantitative metrics as a way of judging scientific achievements within research units. And open science and open collaboration has become an element for rewarding them as well. At the European level, we try now to get also in other countries changes, maybe not in an identical way as in the Netherlands. Every country may have its own way of doing these things, but that there will be a common ground for changing the rewards and incentive system in such a way that research behavior becomes rewardable, not just research outputs. And when it comes to research output, there is also a very much broader set of research outputs will become rewardable, not only publications, but for example, also open data sets or software or cell lines, you name it.
Are all the tools required to make open science easier already available? Or are there any extra additional help that would make open science or open collaboration easier?
That's a good point, of course. You can say that open science, in the sense as I just mentioned it, so in terms of open collaboration and early knowledge and data sharing, that this has been driven by bottom up, also by digital means. We have now a lot of open or semi-open digital platforms in which researchers can share presentations or preprints or documents very early on. And this has, I think, since the beginning of the last decade, risen exponentially. This sharing has taken place, despite that this sharing was not rewarded as such by the system. There's a growing sense in the scientific community, and of course also motivated by scientists themselves, in the sense that they want to have their material read. Of course, if you write an article, you want to be read, and interesting enough, if you publish on an open digital platform, there are more people who read your article than when you publish in Nature. so in that sense, it's an incentive as well. So this is a bottom-up reaction, but we found, let's say around 2013-14, as a diagnosis that this bottom-up change which is happening needs support from public governance.